Thanks to Matt Shawls and his mother Vala for giving me the inspiration for today's message. In Philippians 4, we find the Apostle Paul closing the chapter with this encouragement to the saints at Philippi. "And my God will meet all your needs according to the riches of his glory in Jesus Christ." Eugene Peterson says it this way in the message: "I want you to experience the blessing that issues from generosity." As Matt and I reflected on Paul's words last week, I was reminded of the picture Jesus paints of the Father's generosity in the story of the prodigal son. Most of us know the story, but do we remember why Jesus is prompted to tell it? And more importantly, do we know who the real prodigal in the story turns out to be? Jesus tells the parable in response to the religious leaders questioning why he is so often partying with the questionable folks in town. He seems to have a message and a following, but is this any way for a leader to behave, hanging out with the local riffraff? How can he possibly be taken seriously? Once again, Jesus responds with a story. Once upon a time, he says, there was a son who asked his father if he could have his inheritance before it was due him. The father gave the boy his riches, and the son promptly wasted it all in riotous living. Hence the title of the parable. Prodigality, you see, is defined as wasteful and extravagant spending. With his money gone and his life a mess, the boy determined to return home. He knew he'd been wasteful. He knew that he'd lost relationship with his father and his family, but he decided that being a servant in his father's house would be better than his current circumstances. He swallowed his pride, chose the path of vulnerability, and returned home, hoping his father would at the very least give him a job and let him bunk with the servants. And then the plot twist in the story. The father was longing for a relationship with his long-departed son, and when he saw him coming down the lane, he did the exact opposite of what the boy expected. He was not rejected. He was not shamed for his horrible decisions. The father ran to meet him. He put a robe upon his back, a ring upon his hand, killed the fatted calf, and declared, "All that I have is yours." The son was in disbelief. "How could this be? This is not what I deserve. Haven't I wasted my inheritance?" But the father says, "A new command I give to you. Love the Lord your God with all, and love your neighbor as yourself. I'll show you wasteful extravagance. The way of the Father is prodigality, wasteful and extravagant spending on your behalf. I have grace for you and for your mistakes. There is nothing you could ever do that would cause me not to love you." The next twist in the story comes as Jesus reveals why he is telling the story in the first place. The law-abiding, perfect older brother hears the sound of the party and, like the religious leaders, asks the question, "What's with the party?" Jesus responds by explaining that he has come to show them a new way. He has come that they might have life and have it more abundantly. The way of the Father moving forward will not be about law and sacrifices. It will not be about living the perfect life. It will be about extravagant grace. It will be about extravagant forgiveness. It will be about relationship with the Father through the Son. "And my God will meet all your needs according to the riches of his glory and generosity in Jesus Christ." Let it be so.